I think the thing that I would try to end on a little bit more of a positive note, other than just repositioning somebody off the bus, would be, how do you prepare for growth as you look at the positions on your seat, and you're self-aware, you know where everybody's at, you've done your due diligence to understand the chemistry, the culture of your team, you've done a great job of painting, a picture of what vision and commitment looks like. Like, how do you begin gauging and preparing for that growth? Because I think one thing that I've noticed that sometimes it seems to sneak up, like even in a church context, we've moved from 500 to all of a sudden 800 within a 6 month, a year span. I mean, 300 people that are coming through, and any kind of a growth like that. I mean, that's that's over 50% growth of that for that church or any organization in that way. They can't really. Sometimes it's hard to shift and remove and be ready for that growth when it happens. I guess the question is, man, how can you begin even hedging that when you kind of see those things? How can you make yourself self-aware of those things and begin being in that direction?
People-wise, and making sure somebody's in the right role, part of the way that you develop the ability to have those conversations is that you set up normal, regular assessments of their leadership, and you set up normal, regular, quarterly conversations.
Right.
We're evaluating you.
Right.
We have a monthly, we have a quarterly, we have a yearly sense of evaluations and goal setting and assessments of where you are. Because if you don't have that, and then all of a sudden you're having a conversation,
right,
it's going to feel like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is out of left field. But if you're having those regular times, then you're watching this process occur, and many times that becomes the consensus that says, okay, I'm noticing over the last year we've had several of the same conversations.
Right.
It's probably time for you to move into a different role.
Right, and I think that's key. I love what you said there. I think it's regular. Yeah. Like, you can't
normal, regular.
Regular. It's normal. It's regular. It's part of everyday conversations. You're always, not that you want to always evaluate. I want to caution, say always that you're going to evaluate to the point to where, you're sick of evaluation. You feel like you never win. You don't want to do that, but you want to have a balanced conversation on a regular basis. It doesn't, to your point, I think you would say this, to your point, it doesn't, and it cannot be a year later.
Right.
Performance review, all right, we didn't grow this much, or we didn't see any percentage of this. Like, it's got to be an ongoing part of the conversation, and regular updates, regular gut checks, 30 minutes once a month is crucial to say, hey, we hit it here, here, and here, and move in that direction.
A lot of people see that as they see it as this hedging my bets on if I have to fire someone. I hear that so often from HR people. They say, now make sure you're having regular quarterly conversations with your team, because if we have to fire them, we have to be able to go back and prove that
right.
this was being documented on a regular basis. Okay, I get that. Thank you, HR professional. But it's not just to protect you, right. It's actually to grow them, and it's right. actually to move them along this process.
Well, it's 1 minute manager, 1 minute goal setting, 1 minute praise, 1 minute, correction, those kind of things on a consistent basis. But I think even for a leader, either being repositioned or just being held accountable, regardless of the perception, having those regular conversations just helps that person build. It develops that person on how to handle feedback, how to handle constructive criticism, but also how to respond well. And if you have those conversations constantly, you don't sit and worry for the week prior to your performance review. Was this going to be? You really kind of already know.
And it's so important. I mean, if you're having to deal with this on a regular basis as a leader, if you're repositioning talent constantly, you've got a hiring issue.
Right.
It's a hiring issue. You're not taking enough time. You don't have a good system in place to hire people to make sure that you're putting the right people in the right seat on the bus.
Right.
And a lot of people try to fix what they can see, and they just start stirring up the chaos
right.
versus backing up 2 or 3 steps and going, okay, what's wrong with our hiring process?
Right.
We got a hiring issue here because we're bringing people in who weren't vetted on the front side, and they're great people.
Right.
They're great folks. But they don't fit with all those C's. They're not going to be able to fit into our culture. They're not going to have chemistry with us. They're they're not competent. You know, the character issue, there may be issues there. They're not committed. So you got to hire based off of that,
Right.
and hire slow every time. Hire slow, hire slow, hire slow. Even if it feels urgent, it feels like if we don't hire this person today, we're, you know, how am I going to get that done? Hire slow.